Why, hello everyone, Spencer here, also known as Greenspeak, and in today's video, this is officially, I know it's April, but my Death of a Unicorn spoilers review. So without further ado, let's discuss. Alright. So, I just said that this is a spoiler review. Yes, spoilers! It's a month already. Deal with it. I didn't have time. I went and saw A Working Man. Let me know if you want me to make a review on that. I might make a short on my phone like I normally do. I saw Working Man, Mickey 17, and Novocaine during March. And Snow White, but, I didn't even talk about Snow White. I talked about it on Instagram, but digress. It's not what we're here to talk about today. But I didn't have time to go see this movie. I was waiting, and then I saw it, and I enjoyed it. So I put out a brief description, as I always do on Instagram and on my Letterboxd. So if you're not following me on Letterboxd, go do it. What are you rascals doing? Get out here. Just get off your butt. Well, actually, you don't have to. You can sit on your butt and type it in. Anyway. So I describe this as a fun horror comedy that has an interesting storyline and isn't just ridiculous humor and unnecessary gore. The ending was a bit unsettling, but Jenna Ortega was great as her usual edgy rebel teen who doesn't give a F, and Will Poulter was great as a normal dorky guy role. He was great. He was great. Paul Rudd was okay, in my opinion. It does give off a bunch of Jurassic Park vibes, which I heard going into this. But honestly, it doesn't bring the same scare factor because they're just large horses with a horn, not an 8-ton dinosaur. The entire movie takes place in a single mansion, which sort of makes it seem like they're trying to cut the budget. Overall, it's worth a watch. And so I'm not going to give you my score quite yet. That's where I finish that part of it. I'll wait to give you my my final rating at the end of the video, and I'll go into explicit detail here. So, like I said, the cast is fun. Very fun. And I think what makes this movie enjoyable, like the Jurassic Park vibes I mentioned, like, again, it's not a big dinosaur, but there's moments here like where they're hiding from the unicorn. First off, I have to mention when they start off and they hit the unicorn, Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega in the car, and then you later see they're like, what's going on in the car? Because they put the thing in the car because it was injured. They put the unicorn in the car because it was injured. Hence, by the way, this is a baby unicorn, and then there's 2 bigger adult unicorns that come after them. So this is a baby one. And this, then like, what's in the car? It's moving. Like, did you kidnap a guy? So then, and Paul Rudd's like, in the promotion's like, this is going to sound odd. And then they're looking at it, and Will Poulter's like, I don't think I should be in swim shorts for this moment. It's just, he's so funny and so dorky at the same time. It's just, Will Poulter's character is great. And I love Jenna Ortega too, because in the poster you see how she's like, has this red dyed hair and nose ring. Jenna Ortega is one of these actresses out there right now, like Haley Steinfeld's gorgeous, you know, Sadie Sink, I love her because she's a redhead, but Jenna Ortega is like my favorite. Like, she's just this goth, like she's just my favorite celebrity crush out there. She really is adorable. But I digress from that conversation. But with this role, starting the film, she has acne. But she has acne. She takes the unicorn towel. Well, there's like unicorn hair on the towel. She wipes her face and the acne is magically gone. And I was like, whoa. And part of the plot. And because I'm like on the cover, well, you only see like one side of her face on the cover. But then like throughout the trailer, I'm like, she doesn't have any acne. Like, why does she have acne? And Paul Rudd's telling her like, stop picking, which I've learned from experience that. Thank you, Paul Rudd. I will take your advice. Okay, thank you. Anywho, I just love Jenna Ortega in this role because she's like, well, it cleared up my acne. And then Paul Rudd was like, yeah, some of it got in my eyes. And he took off his glasses because it was like the glasses weren't were like fogging up the words, and he's like, kind of like Spider-Man does. He's like, fine, I'll take off my glasses. And later, later Will Poulter is snorting the like unicorn dust or whatever, like drugs. But it's like, what's his face? Richard E. Grant is in this movie, and he's in a wheelchair with, you know, nose plugged, no like wire to breathe, oxygen. That's what it's called. And then he touches the horn as well. If like you touch the horn, you see a vision. Jenna Ortega had a vision. It's very A24 stuff. By the way, this is A24, and I enjoy this more than other people did. And I'm just a sucker for A24 stuff, so I enjoyed this. Not because it's A24, just for various reasons. I enjoyed the nature of the film, and because it's A24 company. But the when she had a vision, and when you touch the unicorn, get its power or touch, you know, magical sense, you're cured. So he had oxygen, Richard E. Grant's character, and because of cancer, he touches it and he gets cured. And after that, Will Poulter's like, cancer? That's the biggest one. And it's just lines like that I love delivered by him. Like I said, I thought Paul Rudd was okay. When everyone's hiding, he's just like, he does bring off an emotional moment at the end, but I'll get to that later. Paul Rudd wasn't as comical as he usually is or could have been, and that's one of my falters. Like I loved the movie. Like I enjoyed my time. It was great. Everybody was good. For the most part, like Will Poulter did steal this movie. I think Jenna Ortega, like I love Jenna Ortega as always. She's great in the role, any role she's in. Will Poulter sold this movie. But Paul Rudd was just kind of there to be there, I thought. I mean, so was Richard E. Grant, but like Paul, by the beginning, or not beginning, when they get to this mansion, like I said, it just takes place at this mansion, which is great. Kind of like the movie Companion, it just takes place all around this mansion and in the woods, but not here to compare the movies. Paul Rudd goes there to like do a, what's it called? A like budget type thing, not budget, but like make a deal with these people, like for his company or something like that. And like I said before, he's trying to read it and he had to take his glasses off. And he's just there like, kind of like, not, he's really not stoic, but he's just like, when he talks to his daughter, Jenna Ortega's character, Ridley, he's like, but I'm in the middle of something, I'm busy. You know, not with the gruff voice, but like, I'm busy. Go over there. You know, don't worry about it. And I'm just like, be funnier. He does do a little bit of comedy-ish. I can't off the top of my head think of any lines that he says. But what I do want to mention about the emotional stuff, that later Will Poulter goes, your daughter doesn't seem to like you very much. And he's like, well, yeah, of course she does. Like, why wouldn't she? She's my daughter. And then when they're all hiding, Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega are in this room together, and the unicorn busts down the door. Well, actually, that was later. And they're talking, and he's like, the reason I chose to take care of you because I was in the hospital room, and my mother, like, I told your mother I would do this with all my heart, like, you know, as every parent does, kind of type of thing. And, you know, starts getting emotional. Like, she cries, like, dude, I didn't know. Or not dude, but dad, I didn't know. And then she hugs him, and they're crying. And it was very emotional. Like, she both of them can act very well. And I really felt the chemistry there. I really felt that. And then the unicorn busts down the door, and he's like, I got this horn. I got the horn of the baby. So he's like going to kill it. Like, he runs out of the room, and Will Poulter, by the way, the woman, if you remember the ghost of Christmas Past, or one of those ones, one of the ghosts from Spirited, the Christmas movie Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and the woman, she's in this movie. And I was excited. I thought it was like, wow, she's back. That's cool. And another Jurassic Park vibe I have is like the guy comes in to explain all the science. I'm like, this is totally a Henry Wu type of vibe here. But the other woman, she's in here, the Spirited woman, she's in here. She dies. Richard E. Grant dies. The mom dies. I don't even know who the mom was played with by. I mean, who is there? There's no cast. Oh no, there's no cast. Well, there's a cast up here. The woman is Sunita Mani, and T. Leone is the mom of Will Poulter that dies. And Will Poulter does die at the end, where he is just thrown on the ground. Again, he gets killed by Paul Rudd, and yeah, fun stuff. I guess it would be fun to get killed by Paul Rudd. Not really. So I don't know why I said that. Going onwards with that, Paul Rudd, you think he's dying because Will Poulter does stab him with an arrow. And he's bleeding out, and Jenna Ortega does incredible emotional, just busts out crying. Like, she's like, I love you, and, like, keep going on, like, live your life or whatever. And then, sudden turn of events, the unicorn just drags Paul Rudd. The two parents, like, bond. By the way, I mentioned when Jenna Ortega had the vision, I was like, she's so bonded with the unicorn. It made me think of Rick and Morty. But the two unicorns take their horns and, like, form it like an X. Like, there's, like, lightning all over the place. And then the baby unicorn, like, forms, because it has this broken horn, like, forms it back together. And they all three of them just go, and then, like, bring Paul Rudd back to life. Reincarnation, baby. And I'm like, whoa. All right. I was not expecting it. Like I said, in my initial post, there were things I wasn't expecting. Like, that was just crazy. And I think at the end, it just made me go, wow. And I feel like the death, like, the doctor guy, the Henry Wu type character, like, he got stabbed through the chest, and it was just like, there's certain dark moments. By the way, there's just moments of this movie, like, when they're trying to shoot Richard E. Grant, Paul Rudd, and the mom are, like, just shooting out just all these characters. Like, it was fun. It was fun. I love the unicorn moments, the action, the horror vibes, and, like I said, the comedy by Will Poulter. Certain times Paul Rudd's okay, but a lot of it is, like, fun enough in my opinion. There are other A24 movies, like that movie Bodies. Didn't do a whole lot for me. This I enjoyed a little more. I think it's just because of the fun concepts of unicorns, horror, the characters in here. Pete Davidson, though, in Bodies, but I thought he was the one they were trying to find was dead, and then he wasn't dead. I don't know. That one just didn't do a whole lot for me, but this one was fun. So, yeah, and then he's alive at the end, and they drive off, and police come. Will Poulter, no, it wasn't Will Poulter. It was the bald guy. Who was the bald guy? Who was the bald guy? I wanted to look up the cast, and I didn't do a very good job. Anthony Kerrigan. Can we look up what he's in real quick? Wait, is that the cop? She's from Doctor Who. Okay, I have to do some discovering after this film. And then I'll... anyway, he was in... Oh, Bill and Ted. I think he was Death. I'm pretty sure. No, he wasn't. Well, he was in Bill and Ted. So, yeah, this guy, the butler guy, gets the cop. I think the woman... Oh boy. I did not mean to do that. I think the woman down there named Shaw was the cop. So they're in the car... And she's like, you better have a good lawyer. And I'm thinking, Daredevil. I'm just kidding. Daredevil! Because his show's out right now, so they can just go grab him. Anyway. And then you see all the unicorns. She's like, what? Like, what the hell? And they just run on the side. The butler is behind him in the car behind the cop. Puts the window up, says, sorry. And they run off. And by like, the most dumbest... So I thought the most strangest moment... Not when Paul Rudd is revived, because if that wasn't crazy enough, they're like, she's like, Jenna Ortega's like, smiling, leaning her head down, they put their head down, and, like, you see them, like, take the handcuffs, like, and then the unicorn, because Paul Rudd waves at the unicorn, and you just see the eye go wink, and then, like, straight into the car, and that's how the film ends, and I'm like, so did they survive? They must be implying, here's my thought, they must be implying that the unicorn, either some type of soul bond, that that Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega have magic in them, that the crash into the car, the cop died, and they survived somehow. Would I like to see a sequel of this? Absolutely. Are they probably going to do one? No. The reason I think no is because it didn't do that well, and I mean, not that A24 is not a great studio, but I don't see them. I don't even know what other sequels. Actually, I take it back. The X trilogy, but I don't see them doing a sequel for this. I could be wrong. I'd be down for it, but it was fun enough. So here's my final rating on this movie. I enjoyed it a lot, but it's a 6.5 out of 10. 4 stars I gave it on Letterboxd. I know that is not equal math equivalent, but that's what I decided to go with on both those sources, or both those contents, and an A- for entertainment. So that's where I'm sitting at for my rating. And so thank you so much for tuning into this review of Death of a Unicorn. If you have not seen this movie yet, I highly recommend you do. It's going to be on digital later this month of April. So, you still have to pay money for it to rent it, buy or rent it, but I recommend seeing the movie. I enjoy the Studio A24 a lot. Probably my favorite studio. A24 and Neon are great studios, but there's just there's a lot of great movies I like, movies and studios I like, so I don't know which one. It's my favorite, but A24 is really good. And by the way, I forgot to mention that Jenna Ortega was vaping in this movie, and then when you see, she just was stressed out. And she's like, because her acne was gone, and then Will Poulter was snorting this stuff, and she's like, "Why are you snorting that?" And Paul Rudd's like, "Ridley, you vape?" And I'm just like, "Bro, these things, there's drugs and vaping," and I was like, "Grow, whoa, what's happening?" But that's all my thoughts. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the review. Be sure to check out the movie. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet to the channel family. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me where you can on social media these days. As always, don't forget to keep calm. Watch screen. Peace out, everyone. Bye.